Thank you very much for inviting me to present at this webinar. I hope everybody can hear me and hopefully everybody can see me. My name is David Arrowsmith. I'm the principal of Inlingua Cheltenham, which is based in Cheltenham. For those people who have been to the UK or know the UK very well, or have a map like I have behind me, we're 1 hour west of Oxford, 2 hours from Heathrow, and about 2.5 hours from central London, to the west of England. A very pleasant rural part of the UK, and typically England. This is a large town, 120,000 population, where 90% of the people are English people or native speakers, and this gives you the impression that it's a full immersion into the culture and the language that we have here in Cheltenham. I'm glad to hear that Elena knows something about the school, so she hopefully will see many of the things that I'm going to present to you here. Cheltenham is, as I said, a very English town. We are a language school primarily. We do other courses, but primarily language courses for overseas students, and we are based in the UK. We're based in Cheltenham, and we're based in the centre of the town. I don't know whether you can see my presentation to the top right hand corner of my screen, which shows a building, which is my main building. If you can see. Great, I'm glad you can see. I have a series, a presentation here which gives you some flavour of what Cheltenham is like. I also have a series of pictures which I will show you as we go along. Towards the end of the presentation, maybe somebody would like to answer me some questions. Okay. So, as I said, a large town. We're in the centre of the town. We are the only private language school in Cheltenham. The building to the left, up in the top right-hand corner, which you can see, is one of 3 buildings I have. They are Georgian buildings, because Cheltenham is a Georgian town. Very pretty, affluent, rich, and a lot of money is being spent doing it up. It's a tourist destination, partly because of its close association with the Cotswolds. Now, if people know the Cotswolds as a tourist place for the UK, it is the quaint little villages and rolling hills to the east of us, between us and Oxford. Very pleasant place to be, very pretty countryside. Cheltenham is 1 hour, as I said, from Oxford, but it's also 1 hour from Birmingham, Bristol, about an hour and a quarter from Bath, and about an hour and a quarter from Cardiff, and 45 minutes from Stratford. So it's quite a good central location, particularly if you have a group, and the group are wishing to maybe do some lessons in the morning, or whatever the case may be, activities in the afternoon, and part of those activities in the afternoon are going to various locations in the area. Because you can go to Oxford in an afternoon, you can go to Bristol in an afternoon, you can go to Stratford in an afternoon. So that's part of what we offer. If I move on a little bit further, on the presentation in the top right hand corner, it says there a few listed things. There's some pictures around the outside. The pictures around the outside are of Cheltenham, as those are Regency buildings. Hence the town. If you've ever been to Bath, which I'm sure maybe some of you have, that's a Regency city. We are a Regency town. The Cheltenham, as it says there, is a spa town. A spa means that it would, like Leamington Spa or places like that, they are famous for their curative waters, for convalescence, particularly in the Victorian era. So this is a spa town. As it says, a popular tourist destination. It is a very vibrant lively place with lots of festivals, but also in the centre of a very pretty part of England. As I mentioned there, within an hour of those different locations. It's called the capital of Cotswolds, Cheltenham, because of its close proximity to the Cotswolds, and basically we are in the centre of town, as I mentioned earlier. One of the things that always come up in this day and age, particularly unfortunately, is whether the location we are in is a safe location. Cheltenham is extremely safe. We were voted in 2000 and 2013, and my figures are a bit wrong there, but 2014 we were voted nationally as the safest place in the UK for international students. It's a very peaceful place, but as I said, quite vibrant. We are a central town location. We're a homestay organisation, which means I have up to 350 families which I use around the Cheltenham area, because we are quite a large school. We take up to 200 students as our capacity. We don't have a residency, but homestay is by far the best option as far as we're concerned. It is because it gives you a better quality of learning the language, and it's an important part of learning the language, particularly if you're going to be staying, as you would be in Cheltenham, with a native speaking family who would hopefully reiterate many of the aspects of the language that you've been learning in the class. However, just to briefly go back, Cheltenham is a very safe location. You can walk to your host family and walk back from your host family. Host families are mainly located within 15 to 30 minutes of the school. There are some beyond that. There is an internal bus system, so you can always catch a bus. We have many students who walk in. We have some students who bike in, because host families lend them a bike. Some catch the bus. And for those that are a bit further out, or where maybe the bus link is not so great, the host families normally bring the student in and then pick them up in the evening. So, but we've been in existence since 1990. We've dealt with, thousands and thousands. I deal with about 1,500 students per year. So if you worked out 27 years, 26 years of 1,500, so it's a lot of students. We've never really had any problem at all with any local issues or whatever. So it is a very safe location. If I move on to briefly the next slide, this, as I said there, but as it says there, Inlingua Cheltenham was founded in 1990. We've dealt with about 35,000 students. We have a very good reputation for teaching quality. We are open all year round. We are actually physically open 52 weeks of the year, because we do actually Christmas courses as well, particularly for the Japanese market. And we do English vocational and teacher training programs, mainly English, but we do foundation courses and things like military English and aviation English, and we also a validated Trinity College London teacher training organisation. As far as accreditations are concerned, we are British Council recognised, have been for 24 years, and we're also, in the last 6 years now, we've been ISI recognised. So we are what they call a UKVI approved school. So that means we can do all student visas, short-term study visas for 6 or 11 months, and we do tier 4 visas as well, and issue CAS numbers. Population of the school, as I said, is maximum 200. Within that, which normally happens for us in March time, July, August, when we have our summer school, and probably in September, we would have in the region of about 30 to 35 nationalities on site. We do promote ourselves quite extensively throughout the world. At the moment, it's a quieter time. We're coming into November, so we're down to around about 60 students, 62 at the moment this week, and they're from 15 different nationalities. Okay. The school is regularly inspected every year. ISI, for example, inspected every year, and British Council inspect every 4 years, and we pass every time. Sometimes with flying colours, sometimes we pass with very good marks. What does the school consist of? Because we're in the centre of town, we do not have a canteen. Because students just go out at lunchtime and can go to a sandwich bar or very closely to us, within 50 metres, 100 metres of us. But what we do have two fully computerized learning centres, because we do online learning, and we also offer courses where you have an individual learning path. We have 3 film rooms, we have 28 classrooms in 3 buildings, student lounge, as it says there, computer room for surfing, Facebook and the like, free Wi-Fi and broadband available throughout the school, and we're lucky in the middle of the town to have a garden and a lawn and some trees, and it's like a little campus in the middle of the town. These sort of different this is a presentation that was done for a recent group that we did, but just to show you a little bit more of the pictures, and then I'll go into the courses that we do here. But those are some pictures of Cheltenham, as you can see in the top right hand corner. It has a very famous horse racing track, which is this one in the middle at the bottom. Cheltenham College. Cheltenham has about 5, I think it is now 5 private schools in town. Cheltenham College is one of them, and where they're playing cricket at the top is one of those private schools. You may know or be aware of some Russian mothers who may have students in this area. There's quite a lot of Russian families here with students at private schools, and they invariably come to us for at half term for some language updating and helping to improve their language during the half term breaks. The other pictures are of Cheltenham generally. Places which are near Cardiff is, as I said, about an hour and a quarter away, which is a nice capital of Wales, as you know, and now a very nice shopping area, but also on the waterfront, and a very famous castle. London is, as I said, 2.5 hours away. We go to London on quite a regular basis. It's a nice location for us to go to. Oxford is 1 hour to the east of us. If you know Oxford very well, those are some of the sites. Ashmolean, Christchurch College, which is where they filmed Harry Potter, or one of the where they used the large banquet hall for Harry Potter films. Now, with I'll go into the courses in a minute, but just with regard to the host families, as I said, we have 350 host families. Host families are a very important aspect of what we offer. We are a one-stop school in the sense that we organise everything. We organise our own families. I employ my own accommodation officer. I employ my own registrar. We organise all activities. We deal with just one taxi company for pickups. We deal with one coach company we've dealt with for years for all our excursions, and we just basically organise everything. So we don't farm out any of those services to third parties. My accommodation officer visits the host families once a year, which is quite an ordeal considering the number of host families. So she's out visiting quite a few every week, just to ensure that everything is up to the standards we would expect. Consequently, we get very few problems with host families. The host families, as I said, are with 15 to 30 minutes walking distance. 90% of them are native speakers. The other 10% are normally families where the husband or the wife is English and the husband or the wife is of a different nationality. We normally offer half board arrangement, or a full board arrangement with these families. We have two different categories of families. One is a standard family, one is an executive family, and I'll explain why we offer an executive family in a minute. But executive means that you have your own private bathroom, slightly professional family as well, but the standard families we offer are very good quality. And as I said, we offer half board or full board. Half board to us, as you're probably aware, is 2 meals a day, Monday to Friday, breakfast and dinner, and then 3 meals per day on Saturday and Sunday. Full board means you get a lunch in Monday to Friday, which normally, admittedly, would be a packed lunch, supplied by the family. Other types of accommodation we offer, yes, there are some families we can have a self-catering option with, and there are also options in the town, and we do have a list of hotels that you can use, bed and breakfast you can use, serviced apartments that you can use, because occasionally we do get families here where mother and father come with their children. The children may well come to us for a course, and the mother and father may wish to live locally, either in a family or in a serviced apartment or in a hotel. So we have to accommodate whatever is necessary. As I said, the host family is an important part, and if you ever applied to come to us for a course, we would ask you quite a lot of detail within our application forms about your preferences and so forth, which would help us with our matching system to make sure that we correctly get the right host family for your student. Welfare issues. We have a dedicated welfare team here of 4 people, which includes my accommodation and welfare officer. They are here to look after the student at all times. We have a 24-hour emergency telephone which is operated 24/7, 365 days of the year, so that basically you can at any time contact somebody from the school if there is an issue or there's a problem you have. Either you're lost on the way home, or you have a problem to your host family, or you've injured yourself, whatever the case may be. We try to help as much as possible. The school is run like a family. It's run like a personal family. It's owned by my wife and myself, and we try to run a sort of hopefully very caring environment, and look after the needs of the school and of the student at all times. With regard to, as you know, welfare issues, these are very common things. Doctors, normally students are registered with a local doctor of the family. Normally there is an emergency doctor system within town, which is about 10 minutes away from here, so if we can't get an appointment with the host family's doctor, then there's always an emergency doctor, and the hospital is 10 minutes walk away from here as well, so very close. And there are 3 dental practices within 5 minutes walk of us. So these are frequently asked questions which come up, which is what happens on the first day. Basically, the students will normally arrive with their host family, who bring them in on the first day. After their arrival, maybe on a Sunday, and we will obviously test them and for their correct language level, so that we can put them into a class appropriate to the language level. If you're coming around the year, our class sizes are a maximum of 10. That's if you're here in the summer, it's a maximum of 12. The average is normally around the year about 8 or 9. Summertime it's about 10 or 11. As you saw earlier, we have 28 classrooms, so we have enough capacity, but our classes basically take a maximum of 12 in summer and 10 around the year. And in those classes you are likely to be with many students of other countries, basically. If you're wondering how many Russian students I get, about 1% per year. So not a lot, not a high percentage. What class will be my child? Well, it depends on his language level. And that will be monitored, and if he needs or she needs to move up the following week or the week after that, then we do that fairly immediately. How far away the host family is? Up to 30 minutes, as it says there. What if your child doesn't like your host families? We have a policy here that we move the student within 24 hours if there's a problem, or maybe the families don't get on, or whatever. If the student is unhappy, then we do move fairly quickly. And as I said, we do everything in-house, so it has to be so it is done very quickly by my accommodation officer, who is called Caroline. Do the host families have internet access? Well, the vast majority do. I think we're now up to around about 90%. As more and more families are getting Wi-Fi, as it's become increasingly cheaper to have this facility in your host families and generally. So yes, in essence, virtually all our families now have internet, either broadband or Wi-Fi. If your child has allergies, will they be catered for? Yes. If we know in advance what they are, we can alert the families, we can alert the school, obviously, and to be informed of how to care for this child if anything happens. We have a lot of nationalities. It gives you an idea of some of them. There's a lot of flags there. Wouldn't like to go through which ones are which country, because that would test my knowledge. With regard to the courses we offer, we have a website. The website is at the bottom of that presentation. You can see there, and you can Google us quite easy, and you can see what we have to offer. But as I said, we're primarily a language school. We do general English. We primarily offer 16 and above students. However, increasingly as the market changes, in summer now we have groups in which are sort of 14 to 17, 15 to 19, sometimes 14 to 19, or whatever the case may be. So the age range has changed. What we do is we have classes for 16 and above, and for those students under 16 we have separate mixed nationality classes. Around the year, most of my students are 16 and above. Vast majority at the moment, the average age here is about 23 at the moment. However, we do during the year do a lot of what they call tailor-made group study programs, mini stays, depends what you like to call it, where we will have groups of students from different countries coming for a 1 week or a 10-day stay or 2-week course, and they will come, and sometimes there'll be 16, 17, 18 school group. They may be even a school group of 12 to 14 years old or 11 to 13 year olds. They will be a closed group, but the 16 plus group can be mixed nationality with my existing students, but those under 16 normally are treated as a closed group. So we do general English for 16 and above around the year. It's our main market. It's probably 60% of my business, where people can choose to have morning lessons, morning and afternoon lessons. They can have some one-to-one with it as well, all sorts of various things. Again, class sizes of 10. We do exam classes during the year and throughout the summer. We do IELTS, is obviously the most popular thing that we do. FCE, CA is also a very popular exams, but less popular now than IELTS. In addition to that, we do a lot of different other programs. Summer course is obviously a very popular one that we do, which is run for 9 weeks. Starts at the end of June until the end of August. And students come either in groups or individuals. As I said, we have a capacity of 200, so in the summer we'd have probably 50% would be individuals and 50% would be in groups of the population of the students. As I said earlier, 30 to 35 nationalities, various ages would come as well. And there you can either, if you're an individual, you have the choice. You can just pick a tuition program for mornings and afternoons, and then your host family, and choose your host family and have that. And then if you wanted your social program, you can then have the social program and choose it from what's on offer, and then pay for it as you go along. If you're in a group, they tend to pick our package program, which is basically where you have your lessons, your accommodation, your activities, your morning, your afternoon and evening activities, your full day excursion on Saturday, included in one package, so that all every day is accounted for, and it means that the group leaders don't have to worry themselves about organising various activities for their students. Everything is organised, and there's a full summer school activity program available now, which we can send you if you wish to have that. So that is some other courses that we run during the here are also, as I mentioned briefly, military English and aviation English, which we do for because we have connections with military and aviation and with air forces around the world. We also do general and business English courses, and we also do CIMA courses as well, which are Chartered Institute of Management and Accounting programs. Those are available around the year as well, and take us into an academic side of the school, which I'll explain a little bit in a minute. The other type of English course that we do, besides the general English, the summer programs, and the mini stays and group travel, is one of my buildings that I have here in the middle of Cheltenham, I use as a business centre for company clients. So I do business English. I do get a few people from Russia for this. It's mainly for company directors, company managers, executives who wish to spend 1 week or 2 weeks, normally a short period of time, doing business English in the company of other business executives from other countries, who from different walks of life, who want to improve their business English so that it would help their company and help their career prospects. It's normally paid for by the company, and this is in one of my separate buildings, which has its own centre, its own reception, its own teachers, its own classes, and so forth. So that's another aspect of what we offer, which is also very important to us. Not a large part of my business, probably about 25% of my business. In addition to those sort of things, when we also offer some vocational courses, as I mentioned, which is besides the military English and the aviation English and the SEMA courses, which is Chartered Institute of Management and Accounting. We also do a foundation program with 30 universities, in cooperation with a company called NCC, which come from the Manchester area, and they have affiliation with 30 universities, many of them in the UK, some of them further afield, and this is more of a guaranteed entry into undergraduate programs, first degrees, in either engineering, IT, or in business. It's a small part of what we do, probably 10% of what I do, but we have intakes in September for 36 weeks or January for 24 weeks. The other aspect last couple of aspects which I was going to mention to you is the online courses. We do quite a lot of online courses here, mainly for the current students that are with us. If you enrolled a student with us, they don't only get their teaching package of morning and afternoon lessons, they also have their own online learning path within the Macmillan English campus, which you may well be aware of. Macmillan is a publisher, which you're, I'm sure, aware of. And Macmillan English campus is an online resource base offering additional exercises in all the 4 skills at all different levels of English level, language level, and we offer each student that comes here a personal login detail to that system, which they can pick up at any computer anywhere in the school, and we have, I think, probably in the region of 56 computers available to students at the present moment on site. And they can work on those exercises that have been specially designed for them and specially put on their individual learning path by the teacher, their teacher that teaches them in that class. That teacher also then marks that work online as well. It's a supplement to what they do in class. It helps to reinforce many of the things that they do in class. Those online courses are available if you don't come to us or not, but they are an increasingly important part of what we offer, and we're getting more and more people doing it just online, and the online version that we do offer also comes in 2 forms. You can either do it self-study or you can do it mentored with a teacher, which includes some Skype lessons on a weekly basis and so forth. But the online part of what we offer is becoming, as I said, more and more important. The other aspect and final aspect of what we do is we're a teacher training organisation, as I briefly mentioned earlier. We're at Trinity College London, and we do have we do the Cert TESOL and the DIP TESOL, which is the equivalent of the CELTA and Delta, which are mainly for native speaking people. Although if you had a language level of 7 or equivalent, you can IELTS of 7, you can do this course. It is designed to train. Initially, the Cert TESOL is designed to train you to become a teacher of English as a foreign language, and the DIP is the next level up, and normally taken by people who want the higher qualification or may wish to go on and run a language department in a language school. Those 2 courses are very popular with us. We've been Trinity College Validated Centre for 22 years now. And we also now offer, in addition to that, in the teacher training department, CLIL courses, CLIL courses, which is basically training teachers of other languages to teach their language in English. I'm sure in Russia it's the same as in other parts of Europe, where there is a development of bilingual schools, where they are looking to increase the number of subjects that are taught in English, therefore by doing so increasing the exposure to English that the students will encounter, and hopefully improve their level of English subsequently. So CLIL, which is a largely European Union instigated program, but is available in many countries beyond the European Union, is a 1 or 2 week course we offer throughout the year. There are many dates, and you can see them on our website and in our literature, where you can come and have the rudimentary sort of course to try and help you to be able to cope with teaching your language, your subject in English. It's increasingly important and increasingly a big part of what we do, and because I have 5 teacher trainers, it's a good we're very good at doing it and been offering it for a few years now. We also do obviously a teacher refresher course for those who are teachers of English already in different countries, and those are available throughout the year. And that also is a course to upgrade methodologies, practical skills, give new insight to new sources, new techniques, and so forth. And those are available. If you're coming with a group, then you do have teachers who come with groups. We normally give you the option to have a language course if you wish, separate to your students obviously, in a different class. But if you also are a teacher and you would like to have some teacher training course, then we also offer that, because we offer teacher training courses at various times through the year, and that might be an attractive option for you if you wish. And through the year we have various leaders, some who don't want to do anything, some who would like to take a language course, some would like to take some teacher training course. That's available if you wish, and be happy to give you some more information on that in due course. Those are basically the courses that we offer. We don't our fees and everything are on our brochure, and I'm sure Svetlana will give you some more information on those if you're interested in us. One of the things that I didn't mention earlier, which I will refer to, if you look back up in the right hand corner, a picture will come up in a minute, hopefully, of some blue books. They're called Inlingua books. I'm sure many of you knew that Inlingua is a brand. It's the largest language training organization in the world. There are 321 schools in 39 countries. And Inlingua is based, the head office is based in Switzerland, in Bern, and part of what they do, because they're mainly a publisher, is they publish their own textbooks, both in general English and in business English and in other languages. We use them partly, it depends on the type of course we're doing, but they are good books, and those are an illustration of some of the books they offer. These are general English books that you can see in the picture. All the Inlingua schools adhere to the quality standards that Inlingua hold. We're not required to use the books extensively, because it depends what is type of course you're doing in your country. Each Inlingua school is owned by an individual or a couple or a company. As I mentioned earlier, this one is owned by myself and my wife. But we pay a license fee to be an Inlingua school. It's a good network to belong to, and we get about 10 or 12% of our business from the Inlingua network. And you may well be aware of other Inlingua schools in Munich or Vancouver or Fort Lauderdale or Washington or Bangkok or whatever it is. There are quite a number of us all over the world. If you wanted to have a little look at what's pictures around the school, because I haven't managed to send you much of those, this is an aerial photograph of the main building on the top right. These are, as I said, pictures of Cheltenham. I'm just running through some of these again. This is a class in one of our classrooms upstairs, taken last year. There are 3 individuals. You can see that they're in their 20s, and this was taken in a general English course in May. this is around summertime. This is a group of people around the summertime, all ladies as you can see, but it gives you a flavour of the different nationalities we have. You have there a German, a French, a Korean, a Japanese, a Libyan ladies. This is a group that came. This is a German group from Fulda in northern Germany. This is a Spanish group, and as you can see they're quite young. This group aged from 13 to 15. We take group sizes throughout the year from about 15 to 60 or 70. Here this is about 40 students, but again we have the individuals, we have the groups, we have things like this. This is a couple of the summer school activities staff. We do advertise quite heavily on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all sorts of social media because our market is still very much young people, and young people communicate with each other in various ways, and mostly on social media. Again, there's a class here. This is a teacher that we have. The teacher is called Mitzi. She is a permanent teacher here. This is a class which was in just about June this year, and as you can see the age level does vary quite considerably. This is a picture of Caroline. Caroline is the accommodation officer. She's the one who organises all the families for everybody and visits every single one of them and makes sure that they hold everything. And this is Thea, who is the lady who deals with all the social programme, organising it, making sure everything is done properly. She deals with her staff that she has to organise it. Quite a young lady, but with a lot of exuberance and personality which you need for social activities. That is basically much of what we offer. I hope that's given you a good flavour and a good idea, a good taste of what Inlingua Cheltenham is like. I obviously could go on and talk about other pictures and other things that we do, but if anybody's got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Bear in mind we're 42 minutes into the presentation. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask, or for clarification or otherwise? Thank you. For the CLIL course, yes, we do two types of teacher. One is primary, one is secondary. The level we do tend to run about 2 or 3 different level courses within each of those primary or secondary levels. So we do get teachers here at a pre-intermediate level, an intermediate level. We have had some at elementary level. It's obviously the depth you can go and the success you would have, how far you can go within 1 or 2 weeks is limited. However, we have most of the ones we get are pre-intermediate level to intermediate. Elementary should take if you're from beginners to elementary, yes, it should take about 2 weeks, that is right. I think 2 weeks of one-to-one more than 2 weeks of group courses, I think. But we do occasionally get beginners here, very few these days, admittedly. As time has gone on, language levels has improved across the world. So the odd beginner that we got, and we just had one only 2 or 3 weeks ago here from Saudi Arabia. He was doing one-to-one for 3 weeks and is now in the elementary class and seems to be holding up. We have courses for air traffic controllers. We do the ICAO level 4 competence level. that is advertised. We do aviation English, but also the ICAO level course, and it's advertised in our brochure. Did it right? Yes, we do the Cert TESOL. Certificate of TESOL, TESOS, which is a Trinity College version, an equivalent level to CELTA. So if you wanted to become a teacher of English and get the first qualified worldwide qualification, you either do the Trinity Cert TESOL or the CELTA. Both have equivalent qualifications. My teachers, we said most of them are very basic. Do you mean anyway? If you mean the teachers, my teachers at the present moment, 40% of them are either CELTA or Cert TESOL qualified, and with a minimum of 5 years experience, and 60% of my teachers have a diploma or Delta level, and have been teaching for many years. I'm blessed with the fact that I am the only language school in town, therefore the stability of my staff is quite high. I have teachers here now at the present moment, a large majority of them, who have been working with me for probably the last 10 years. So and obviously, as you know, being a British Council recognised school, you cannot work in a British Council recognised school unless you're at least TEFL I qualified, which means CELTA or Cert TESOL or equivalent. And all my staff are at least that. Any more questions? Are they all British? Yes. A policy of the Inlingua network, generally worldwide, is that if you teach languages, and we do teach other languages like Polish, we teach Spanish, Italian, Greek sometimes, Dutch sometimes. The policy is that all Inlingua schools must only use people whose language is that native to that language. So all my teachers are British, they are also native to the language. Do you prepare IELTS online? Not at the moment, no. We offer an online course, yes, which can have elements of Inlingua IELTS on it, and we can construct, because that's the beauty of Macmillan, you can construct a course based around the syllabus of IELTS, and you can offer that. We haven't had a demand for that, but it wouldn't be too difficult for us to prepare one. I think somebody's writing something. I hope what I've said is of interest to you, and Natali, if you need IELTS lessons, English-Natali can provide you with them. Right, okay. You can connect with the school through Natalia at any time. Happy to see you. You can visit the school at any time. I'm normally here most of the time. I do travel Italy, but I do have staff here who'll be more than happy to welcome you. I'm here most of the year, but I do market for the school. I'm in Berlin next week at the ICF workshop, and I've just come back from Japan and China, but I don't travel that much. Are there any online courses for teachers? Yes, there is. The teacher training department do the DIP online, and he's currently creating a CLIL course online as well. Can courses be booked with you directly? They can be booked with me directly, although it would probably be best to go through Natalia at Natalia Agency, because they work quite closely with us. But yes, you can book directly with us if you wish. With regard to students from other countries, the most popular nationality we have is Italian, which come in at about 16%, Spanish at 14%, Swiss at 10, Japanese at 10, 9, 10, Korean at 6, French probably next at 5%, 6%, and so on, so on, and Arabic, which can constitute up to 5 different countries, are about 12%. That gives you an idea of the mix, but as I said, we have from Russia and from Russian-speaking countries, 1% from Russia and probably 1.5% from the rest. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening, and hope that was informative for you.